Greetings and salutations, my artsy friends. How is everyone today? So good, I hope. So good. Everybody make sure you have a big water today because we're going to be learning a new technique. So we need all of our, all of our wits about us. So we need to be hydrated. Is everybody ready? Yee! I'm so excited. So, good morning, Jamie. Hi, hey, Sue. Good morning, good morning. How is everyone today? Just adjusting my light a little bit. Good morning, Tam. How are you? Oh, it's sunny. You know what? It rained in the night here. So it's quite overcast this morning. So I'm kind of hoping that we have a little bit more rain because that's just indicative. For me, that's like, I can draw better. And I have a lot of drawing to do. I have 3 deadlines today. So, anywho. But I will try and make anything work for myself. Good morning, Jimmy. Good morning, Keels. Hey, Vicky. So don't forget that this Saturday and Sunday is our artsy weekend. So we have Let's Get Artsy with Our Bible on Saturday and Artsy Alchemy 5 on Sunday. And we will be creating with gouache on in both classes. I'll be showing you a little bit different tips and tricks and some techniques in each class. So, I try to be as, oh, golly, 57. Oh, I'm sure it's going to be 100 today. It's still hot. But I'll be up in Montana on September 30th. I'm going up for my niece's baby shower. I can hardly wait. So let's see. During Let's Get Artsy with Our Bible, we're going to be doing some elements that have 2 different techniques that I'll be sharing with you, and then we're going to be creating tip-ins with those. And then on Sunday in Artsy Alchemy, which is the art journaling class, you could do both sets of art. You could take both classes and put both art techniques in either or, in your Bible or your art journal. On Sunday, we're going to be, I was completely inspired by my recent trip to the immersive Frida Kahlo event. And so there's going to be a lot of Frida and a lot of gouache and, oh my gosh, and some funky, fun, artsy techniques thrown in. So be sure to, and registration is open for both of those, and those are on my website, and Corbiere-Scott-Designs.com. If you are brand new here, if you would follow, like, and subscribe to Ann Corbiere-Scott Designs on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, I would greatly appreciate that. So, and be sure to take a moment after this video is done and hit that thumbs up button. The more people that hit that, and it seems like after the video is done, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. But anyway, it seems like if you hit it after, then we get, it counts or something. I don't know. Anyway, so today we're going to be talking all about a new colored pencil technique. So grab your colored pencils, and if you happen to have the Prismacolor chart from Sandy Allnock, get that out. I just use that as such a reference. Yes, Jimmy, Bible class is under Let's Get Artsy with Our Bible. They're both under featured classes on my website. One is called Let's Get Artsy with My Bible, or Our Bibles, September 2022. And then Artsy Alchemy is Artsy Alchemy 5, and they're right side by side in the featured classes section of the website. So does everyone have, so I'm going to color on my September art printable. So get your September art printable out. And I have it in two different ways. So I have it, this is a piece, so Tammy and I were just having this discussion about how we paint a lot during class, and then you have bits and pieces that were left over, right? So this aster over here has been not painted yet. These are all in various stages of doneness, right? I still don't know what I want to color this center, so I'm leaving it until I figure it out. But these are all pretty much on their way. But I have this one right here. So I can use this technique today to color this aster. But I also have this piece of copy paper that I printed, and then I put the watercolor ground on top. So that's an option too. Then I also have, this is where, then I also have these two bits and pieces that I printed Vintage Puppetry 6, and then I printed the September art printable on top of it. So I have that cool vintage paper behind it, right? And this is the one that I've started with the technique. So you can do whatever you want. You can pick whatever you want to create with. Whichever flower, whatever you have left over. But here's what we're going to do. Is everybody ready? Let me know if you have your pencils and a big water. Good morning, Laura. How's Florida this morning? So, Laura, we are playing with colored pencils today, and we are coloring on the September art printable, however you've printed it. If you've printed it on watercolor paper, if you've printed it on copy paper and then put some watercolor ground on top, if you've printed, which where's that one I just had? Oh, here we go. If you've done a vintage puppetry and then you've printed the September art printable on top of it, however you choose. So, like I said, I use that. This is how my brain works sometimes. So I picked Spanish orange, right? Here's Spanish orange. So Spanish orange on the color wheel would be where? It would be opposite of blue. But Spanish orange is kind of an orange yellow. So we have orange yellow here and we have blue violet. So that's my sweet spot right there, right? So all the pencils I've chosen are all kind of in that family, right? So this technique, I need to tell you that it didn't come from my noggin. I've kind of made it my own, but here's the thing. When you're scrolling around social media, as we all do, think outside the box. I saw this technique on the Strathmore Art Instagram. And the technique was for portraiture. But I knew we could adapt that to my flowers. And so here we go. So we're going to take a color. So I started with Spanish orange. You know that's one of my faves. Here we go. Nope, that's yellowed orange. There we go. Spanish orange. Okay. So this is the first thing we're going to do. We're going to just do we're just going to lay down like a wash of color, but we're doing it with a colored pencil. And you see, like, I am barely touching my paper, barely, barely, barely touching it, right? Give me a little bit more, go a little wider. So we're establishing our background, right? So, and we set the tone of the whole piece by laying down some color for the background, right? Okay, now we're going to take another color. So I'm going to come in with Parma Violet, because remember, these two are opposite on the color wheel, right? Think about your tones. Think about, get that color wheel out so you can really think about what colors. You'll be so much more satisfied with your end product if you use your color wheel to guide you. So I'm going to use Parma Violet, another one of my favorites, to start to build up the shadows and darker color to establish a solid base. So I'm going to start to color my petals, but I'm doing that technique where I am, again, barely touching my paper, and I'm just going to start. See, I have a contrast already happening, but it's slight, and that's the way we want to do it. We want to do, and sometimes I'm going to the very end of the petals and sometimes not, but we want it to be very subtle, right? So we want nice light layers, because we can always come back and deepen our layers. Oh, whoops. Oh, well. But with colored pencil, it's really hard. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Sorry about that. With colored pencil, it's hard to remove. So work light. Oh, excuse me. Thank you, Tam. Hi, Linda McGee. Good morning. Whatever you've got, Tam. This technique will work on either or. I really happen to like, thank you, Joni. Thank you, Laura. I happen to really like colored pencil on watercolor paper, cold press, because it's got that texture, and I really dig that. Some people really like a smooth texture. So then you're going to use a hot press. But, just think about that. And you could create the same kind of scenario by printing on copy paper and giving yourself a little bit of watercolor ground. Allergies. All that rain has made my sinuses just kind of dance for me this morning. Okay, so we're just, like I said, we're just kind of coming in with a darker tone and building up that solid base, but really I like to work lightly, because then I can control things a little better, right? Okay, so we've done that. Now we could do a couple of things. We could come in with the same colored pencil, right, and deepen, or we could come in with violet, which is my next. Okay, so look. Oops, there we go. So where's Parma Violet? Here's Parma Violet, and here's Violet. Do you see how they work really nicely together? Right, so let's, I want to deepen with that. And then I think I might want to do some ultramarine here or some imperial violet. Those are kind of, because remember, we don't want it to be all one flat color. We want to bring in lots of depth. Okay, I'm going to start with violet. So I'm just going to, again, I'm just really lightly, barely touching. But I'm going to come in a little deeper. And sometimes when you're coloring, you'll notice that whether it's the paper or the end of your pencil will create these lines that just kind of happen. Play those up, because that's going to look at right there. That's going to look like a beautiful just bend in your petal right here. Do you see it? I don't know if that's right here. Do you see how that's just creating this little bend in the petal, right? But do it ever so slightly. Really take that into consideration. Take your time. Sometimes you can organically, sometimes they happen organically. Sometimes you can kind of push the envelope a little bit, right? And remember, we're going to do that circle blend so we don't have any harsh lines. I like that that little bit of that yellow is still popping through, right? Did anyone happen to watch CBS Sunday Morning this weekend? This past weekend, I should say. The story on Better Homes and Gardens, can I tell you, I have always loved Better Homes and Gardens. My mom almost always had Better Homes and Gardens. And I've loved it because it's everything, right? It's gardening things, it's recipes, it's decorating, it's, oh my gosh, so many things. I know I want to deepen right here because this petal is folded over a little bit. So I really want to work on establishing that shadow right there. And see the same here. But I want to be gentle about it, you know? I want to do it over here, but I want to keep this one light. That's going to give me some really nice form right there. How's everyone doing? So good, I hope. So anyway, the Betsy McCall. I just had those paper dolls in my head. But anyway, Better Homes and Gardens. Back to Better Homes and Gardens. They Okay, so no, the yellow hue is from my colored pencil. So I started, sorry about that. I thought everyone saw that. So I started with this piece, with a piece, right? And I just took my Spanish orange and I just created a wash of color and background by simply coloring back and forth. And my pencil is barely touching my paper, right? And then you're going to come in with a darker color and you're going to start to establish a little bit of contrast, right? So I picked opposites on the color wheel. Because I wanted a really nice contrast. Bye, Sue. Oh my gosh, have so much fun. Have so much fun. Okay. Okay, Laura. You see what I'm saying? And this can be on watercolor paper. It can be on copy paper with watercolor ground. I just like it to have a little bit of tooth because then you're going to have a little texture, a little play. Okay, sorry. I'm just sniffing this morning. I'm going to finish up with this. But remember, this is meant to be subtle, you know? We want it to be subtle. You don't want a big solid area of color. You want to just slowly build that color. So we know right here is going to be dark because this petal is laying on top of this petal. So let's come in. Okay, remember we talked about here. We really want to establish just a little bit of shadow right there. Right there. Right here. Here. Oops. Okay. So we've got a little bit of that done, right? So now, so we have a pretty solid base, right? And I haven't even started with the word aster yet. I'm still working on just the flower. And now we're going to, the other place that I wanted to establish a base is the centers. So I want to come in and I'm kind of making a half moon of color on these pieces. And it can be on one side and the other side. You don't want them all the same direction, right? So we're still continuing to create that solid base. Oh, so pretty. Okay, so we have that solid base. right? Now we want to come in and lightly glaze the colors over the base. So this is our time when we can start to add those other colors. Remember where we've talked before about, oh, I'm so sorry. About when you add more colors, so you're not solid purple, right? When you add more colors, that's how you're going to get depth and play, right? And that's what we want. Everybody take a drink. Okay, so I'm going to come in with that ultramarine. I'm going to sharpen that because I think I really want to, because my spaces are small, number one, a sharp point is going to help me. And I want to be a little bit more strategic in how I apply my color. Okay, so glazing is where you just barely touch the paper. Back, forth, glaze, barely touching the paper. So let's start to, so I'm going to play up those lines. Remember we talked about how lines, how shadows just kind of start to appear as you're coloring. And especially when you're using a textured paper like watercolor paper or copy paper with watercolor ground on top, you're going to get some really nice organic places where shadows just happen to fall. And already I can see by the addition of this ultramarine, I'm getting some really nice really nice form is starting to happen. So we know down here we want a little bit more ultramarine, right? We want it right at the base because that's a nice dark spot where the petals come off the center of the flower. Here we go. Oh my gosh, and then the other story that I just fell in love with was about these brothers. Did anyone see it? Oh my gosh, it was so good. So there were two brothers named Jalen and Julian, I believe, was the younger brother's name. Yes, he's only 12. 2 years ago, they lost their mom. And they just were hit with tragedy after tragedy. They live in Katy, Texas, and as you know, Texas had that big freeze. My child was in that big freeze, and you know, oh my gosh, it was awful. And anyway, while that big freeze was happening in Katy, Texas, all over the state of Texas actually, their pipes froze. And if you've ever had pipes freeze, you know that that is a disaster. So the pipes froze. The older brother, who's now responsible for the younger brother, finds a contractor to try and fix it. And no kidding, doesn't the contractor take their money and disappear? All their life savings. It was horrible. It was just horrible. And their mom had left them that home. So they were just devastated, as you can imagine. I mean, they're still, the loss of their mom was still so fresh in their mind. Then so they did find one living relative that they could stay with. And so they went to stay with that person. And an organization called Katie Responds heard about their story and came, and they fixed everything. They restored they fixed all the damage. They completely updated the whole house. Oh my gosh, it's the most beautiful story. So if you get a chance, and you know it's a Steve Hartman story, they always are, be sure to check it out. So I'm still glazing with my colors. I want to come in and glaze with that Parma to get some good, just on the outer edge of the folded bit of petal, right there. So I just have like just a little bit of curve that kind of starts to happen. But glazing, remember, is your pencil is barely touching. You're just laying down like the smallest bit of color. How are we doing on time? Okay. Oh my gosh, it was the most beautiful story. It was the most beautiful story, Laura. I believe there are angels among us, that's for sure. Okay, so now you're going to, so we've lightly glazed, and that kind of integrates the shape into the background, right? Do you see how they're kind of starting to work in communion with each other? And now you're going to just continue to render and fine-tune the design and build up the colors until you're satisfied, right? So I want to come in with an orange on only some of these, so I have just a little bit deeper. Right? That's just going to start to continue to, so now we're going to fine tune. So I want to do my letters, and I'm going to start with my Parma, obviously. So I'm going to do the centers, all of these thickened downstrokes, and these letters. But because I've printed on watercolor paper, I don't have a smooth line. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to sharpen my Parma. I don't have a solid line. Does that make sense? So now I'm going to take my Parma and I'm going to go over that line, and that's just going to create like a little bit of a glow. That's pretty. Oh, thanks, Renee. That is, I think that was last week. We painted the rainbow flower when we were talking about Karen markers. There we go. All right, I think I want to come in with a little bit of ultramarine, the tippity top. That's just going to give me a nicer contrast, I think. Okay. So just keep fine-tuning. Does that make sense to everybody? You're just going to continue to fine-tune, fine-tune, fine-tune. Oh, I wanted to tell you that I did get... So Tessa brought me one more thing in the Kindness Colors collection. Colors of Kindness. So you remember that she brought me the colored pencils and the crayons. And on Sunday she gave me the markers. And they're so pretty. I've made a color swatch with all of the colors, which I think must be upstairs. So I'm not seeing it right here with me. But I do want to play with those in my art journal a bit. You know. I have big ideas. I always have big ideas. Anybody else have big ideas? Everybody take a drink. Is everyone coloring along, I hope? I realized just the other day we have not read in our comfort book in a while. So let's do that. Okay. Being, not doing. You don't need to exhaust yourself trying to find your own value. You are not an iPhone needing an upgrade. Your value is not a condition of productivity or exercise or body shape or something you lose via inactivity. Value is not a plate that needs to be continually spun. Value is there. It is intrinsic, innate. It is the being of not the doing. Oh my goodness, can I tell you, I was having a struggle with this last week, and I'll tell you what happened. And tomorrow, the next one is, life is short, be kind. Well, ain't that the truth? Okay, so I was having a struggle last week about my own value. You know, it's interesting. I'm sure that everyone gets hit with this, that imposter syndrome, or maybe I'm not as talented as I thought. Maybe I'm not as kind as I thought. Maybe I'm not as whatever. Well, last week I had these, oh, thank you, Laura. That's so kind. That just makes my day. So I had 3 people in my life kind of copy me artistically. And whether it was the name of a class or a style or an actual product, 3 people. And some of them I consider my friends. Anyway, I was just feeling ever so anxious and just uncomfortable. Do you know what I mean? And so you can think of those things in one of 2 ways, right? You can be flattered. You can confront them. To what end? I don't know. Or you can figure out a way to handle it internally, you know? Sometimes I find that those kinds of situations are, I find myself, I usually let myself have one day of being mad or sad or feeling sorry for myself, and then I let go. But I was feeling really anxious. And you know, movement was the key. I just got in the pool and I just walked back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And some of the people that did it, I don't know that any of them did it to hurt me or to, do you know what I mean? With malice. It was just an uncomfortable couple of days. So just know that sometimes it just happens. I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, the value thing. Yeah, that we all doubt our value sometimes. And but I will say that coming here each Tuesday and Thursday and just making art with you guys and chatting about when's the last time you ate a piece of pineapple upside down cake, or a story from Sunday morning, CBS Sunday morning, or whatever. It is it is one of my greatest joys. And so thank you. Thank you, thank you. And I think, the thing is that you do kind of have to figure out a way to process it within yourself, right? Somebody told me a long time ago that people are going to steal your ideas. They will, especially in the art world. And so that's why you always have to be thinking of your next best thing. Like, what's your next thing? What's your next thing? And that, you just have to kind of pity the people that steal from you because they can't think of their own next best thing, right? So I had a little pity party on Saturday, and then on Sunday I was feeling better. You know what I did is I kind of took myself out of this world, and I'm sewing a quilt for my mother-in-law. And so I just concentrated on that. And you know what? It was exactly because I had success in that, right? Because I finished my quilt top. And so, I found something else to have success in, and that helped. It helped to just be distracted for a little while. So now I am taking a deeper orange, right? So I used Spanish orange as my background. This is yellowed orange, and I'm just coming in and creating a little more contrast and to build up the colors until I'm satisfied. And I'm feeling like I kind of want to get a little bit of orange in here. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling it this morning. Yeah, Keels, it is what it is. It happens. Sometimes it happens from everyone is inspired by somebody else, right? Or something else, or, anyway. It happens. And not saying that it's okay, but I can usually let it roll off my back. Saturday I couldn't. But then I found something to distract myself. Although, another thing that I did to distract myself was I got entirely sucked in by this British murder mystery called Guilt. Has anyone watched it? Oh my gosh. So good. Ooh, that's really... Thank you, Laura. Thank you, thank you. I feel like I want to soften this a little bit. Just ever so slightly. And this maybe too. I kind of really, and you just want to integrate this fine tuning into your background, right? So you just want to have them become kind of symbiotic. I guess that's the word. Good morning, Gwen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I hope you will take this new technique, you guys, and fiddle with it today. Play with it in different ways. Do you know what I mean? I just was like, oh, oh, oh. I know we can do something great with that. Everybody take a drink. I'm feeling like maybe I'll do the same. Thing here. Just gonna work that out. Look at that, it's so pretty. And who here has a Better Homes and Gardens cookbook? Me. And they called it. They're so funny that they called it the red plaid when it was first came out. And did you know that when it first came out, I think the cookbooks came out in 1930, and there was a thing where you could there was a program where they could, if you sent in $1, you got the magazine subscription for 2 years, and the gift was you got the cookbook. How cool is that? I love that. I love that. I'm really digging this. I feel like it needs a little something more, but I feel like I need to back away for a second. How's everybody doing? Do you really, Jimmy? Yeah, I have one from, well, I think I have a Betty Crocker that my gram bought me in the early 80s when I moved to my first apartment. And I have an old, remember the kind that was like on a three-ring binder? I think it's a Betty Crocker too. But I think I have one of those, because I'm always shopping estate sales and all that old junk. I just love all that old junk. I think I have a Better Homes and Gardens. And they were talking about the Better Homes and Gardens magazine, about how, number one, the photography is always stupendous in that magazine. It's just, you wish that your front porch would be so lovely. Right? Oh my gosh, Vicki, that's so cool. What a treasure. What a treasure. Vicki, thank you for your kind words. That's so nice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm going to fiddle with this one a little bit too, but then I was kind of feeling like maybe I want to do some other colors. Do you know what I mean? Another color combo, like some other opposites on the color wheel. But I'm just in the building up the darker colors stage on this one. Can I tell you, this is so relaxing. I will post a picture of that quilt top. I'm so proud of myself. And it is, please, I am not a quilter like my friend Keely. I am not a quilter like my mother, who creates absolutely lovely pieced quilts. It's It's just squares. 6-inch squares, but it's all fabric. She's British, and it's all fabric from England. I sent away for it from England for the Jubilee, which is kind of crazy now, isn't it? With all that's happening and going on. And it has happened over the last little bit. Anyway, I can hardly wait. So I have a friend who's going to quilt it for me, machine quilt it. And I do need to go get my backing fabric. It's 60 by 72. So I'm hoping that I find something wide enough, but you know, my mom did teach me to sew those two pieces of papers or pieces of fabric together to create a backing. Oh, that's a good idea, Keels. I know. I was wondering, like, does Joanne, or should I go to a quilt shop? Because I need it over 60 inches wide, right? To send it to my friend to machine quilt it. And the front is, oh, it's so cute, you guys. It's so cute. Just a second, I'll go get it. I'm so excited to share it with somebody. Okay. So look, it is all, so look at, there's like the little corgis. There's a teapot and teacup. There's a crown. There's a telephone box and a post box. There's other teacups. Look at this one. With the soldiers and the Tower of London and Big Ben and Westminster. Oh my gosh, I just love it, love it, love it. There's one that's all soldiers. Look at, I still have my, I still have my little Post-its with my number of rows that to sew them together. It's so cute. It's so, so cute. I can just hardly wait. And you know what? It was the best distraction. Oh, look at this little tea party. Look at that. Oh my gosh. And there's the Union Jack, of course, is all over it. I hope she likes it as much as I liked making it for her. Anyway, it was the perfect distraction from my crappy Saturday. This, I'm still feeling like I need like something, I don't know, like I need a little bit more contrast maybe. Oh my gosh, it was so therapeutic. It was so therapeutic. And because it's quilting and that's a new kind of realm to me, I knew I needed to really concentrate on what I was doing. I wanted my corners to be sharp and meet up perfectly. So, like I said, I had to really concentrate on something like that. And so it was a blast. I think this deepening of the orange is helping with the, But I really love this technique of doing that wash of colored pencil. So let's think about how we can use that over and over and over again. Like there's one more artsy technique that's in our artsy arsenal, in our noggin, right? We can use that in a million different scenarios. I love that idea. And the more we do it, the better we get at it, right? Oh, I'm loving it. Let's do some more of that up here. See if we can start to build that. Yep. Oh my gosh, Keely, how did we get to 3 minutes? It goes so fast, doesn't it? So, remember that tomorrow is Stitch Along, and I am finishing up Virginia, and I don't know which one I'm going to do next. Maybe Missouri, maybe Delaware, maybe Arizona. You never know. And that's just 30 minutes of slow stitching and easy conversation. And then I always ask you a question at the end of the day, at the end of the class. So I pose it in the group. So join the group just so you can see what the question is and just chat away. And then Thursday, remember that we will meet right back here and we will be art journaling. Of course, we will be art journaling. And we'll be art journaling with our September art printable. So bring your art journal and your artsy arsenal. And when I say artsy arsenal, just bring the art supplies that we always use. Do you know what I'm saying? Your watercolors, your brushes, your colored pencils, your micron pens, your pencils, you know. Always have that color wheel. Oh my gosh. Yes, the stitching also has its own Facebook group, and it is called Stitch the States with Anne Corbiere-Scott Designs. No, it's just Stitch the State with Anne Corbiere-Scott. And then if you don't already belong, ask to join Let's Get Artsy with Anne Corbiere-Scott, that Facebook group. That's where you can post pictures of your projects. We can have other discussions. If I'm going to post something for people to download, it'll be in there. So just do that, please. Oh, I can't believe I haven't told you yet. Yesterday, I got my first Amazon affiliate check. Like you can tell, you have to earn to a certain degree till you get a check. So I owe you all a giant thank you for buying things from my affiliate page on my website, and it's called Anne's Artsy Arsenal. My check was $14.45. So I'll put that right into my Amazon account and buy some more pencils or paint or who knows what. It'll go right back into art supplies, of course. But thank you. It was super fun to watch it grow and to just know that you're all, we're creating with the same stuff. How fun is that? But remember, you don't have to have the exact same stuff as me. You can create with whatever you have. I just want everybody to make art. That's me. So yes, go out and practice this new technique. I see all kinds of possibilities for myself with this. I do. I adore you all. This is kind of looking like so this is how my brain works. I look down and I'm like, that kind of looks like a pack of seeds, doesn't it? So what am I going to do with that? Who knows? Something fun. I adore you all. Thank you so, so much. And I will see you hopefully tomorrow in Stitch the States with Anne Corbiere-Scott. And for sure on Thursday in Pop and Paint Party, Art Journaling Edition. I adore you all. Thank you so, so much. Bye, everyone.